Hi all, Neil here from the Endurance Hub. When I started triathlons back in 2011, I initially started using a Garmin watch. I know there's several others out there, but we all sort of choose one that we use. So I used the Garmin. It was a 310 XT, which was like a brick on my wrist. A little picture of it here for you. So that's where I started. Used that for I can't remember how long I used it for, but when the Fenix 3 came out, I jumped on the Fenix bandwagon and got myself one of those. It lasted okay, and then the altimeter went and it was giving false elevation readings. So it was out of warranty, so I had to buy another one. So I shelled out again and I got the Fenix 5. Same thing happened again, and by now you think I'd learnt my lesson. However, I was a bit of a Garmin fan, so I went out and I bought a Garmin Fenix 6. Again, used it for a while. This time it went a lot quicker. So it was within the warranty period. I contacted Garmin. In fact, it was less than 12 months. Contacted Garmin, can't fault their customer service. They were like, okay, yeah, we'll send it back. We'll send you a replacement. Sent me a refurbished, not a new one, which is their policy. Sent me a refurbished watch out. Didn't last that long. It went again. So obviously by now I'm pretty frustrated with what's going on. Contacting Garmin a lot, and they're saying you swim too much. The chlorine is getting in the altimeter. You need to clean it, which I was doing because I've had these issues through 3 previous watches. So I was cleaning it out after every swim. It still wasn't working. I went onto a Facebook page, put in that I'm having this issue, and it turns out hundreds of us are having that issue. So it's something that Garmin are aware of, which is obviously why their customer service was so good, and they kept sending out refurbished watches, which obviously fair enough, but I don't want a new watch. I wanted a watch that worked and I didn't have to keep setting up and doing it all over again. So I went through a process with them, and I got a 6 Solar Pro broke, a 7 broke. So I'm sort of at a standpoint, I'm thinking, well, what can I use? Where can I go? What can I do? Anyway, we've just started of becoming the official stockist of COROS. Now, it's not something I'd heard of. I had heard of it once. One person was using it. So I'm thinking maybe it's a chance for me to have a look at something different and see if I can move away from Garmin and I don't have to spend another £700-800 on a Fenix 8 just for it to break again. So I went for the COROS Pace Pro. Now this is £299 until the end of December. So $299, their top end multi-sport watch compared to a Fenix 8 that is what, 800? I think probably up to 1,000 now for their Pro. I think it's something like that. But I can't obviously guarantee those prices, but I think it's something like that. So I'm thinking, I upgrade to a Fenix 8, I pay, but let's say 800. Or I get this and it works and I've paid $299. Bargain. I'm not going to go through unboxing it because you all know how to unbox a watch. So this is the watch. It's a lot lighter than the Garmin, so obviously Garmin is a premium product, don't get me wrong, it is premium, it does a lot. However, I'm not a data analyst, I'm not a data geek. All I want is a watch that records my swimming, my biking and my running. I don't really go into that much detail in it. I don't use probably 90% of what the watch can do. So spending £800 compared to £300 is probably going to be okay for me if it works. So this has got an AMOLED screen, which I'd never heard of before. So what happens, obviously, on this one, you can turn it on all the time, or it's off. Then you flick your watch over or your wrist over, and it comes on, tells you the time or whatever it is you're looking at, and it goes off again. It does stay on while you're exercising, by the way. So yeah, like I said, I'm not a data geek. So what you're going to get over the next few videos, I've been testing it for about 3 or 4 weeks now. So I've swam, I've biked, swam, I've run. I need to do a bike with it to see how that works, which I will be doing tonight. You're not going to get a lot of data geeky stuff off me. You're going to get layman's terms, a 55-year-old bloke who's rubbish with technology, and you're going to see if it works or not. And it could potentially work for you. and it's something that we can use, obviously move away from Garmin. All right, well, thank you very much for listening, and keep an eye out for the upcoming videos. Thanks, bye-bye.